What inspired you to actually write and create this work?
I was inspired because I moved to Joburg in 2008 and I was coming from Cape Town at the time, so it was a completely different energy. And even Joburg back then compared to now, it's a little bit different. But it was just my own life experiences and the principal idea that I want to make work that I would want to watch. When I was in varsity or when I'm going through things in life, I love to watch films that help me navigate through life. So I was like, when I make films, yes, I can entertain you, but the biggest thing is I want to help grow you and share the growth that I've been going through.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Film Biz Show, the only show where we delve into industry professionals' minds to get their insights on the current landscape of the film and television business, both in South Africa and internationally. Please subscribe, like, comment, and turn on the notification button so you are aware of our future episodes that you will love so much. Now, today we're joined by two filmmakers who have worked on one of South Africa's latest romantic dramedies that's just been released on Netflix called Smart Casuals. One of our guests has previously been on our show, and we're joined by his leading lady, a Mike Africa finalist, Khosi Gift winner for fashion design, and now lead in the film Smart Casuals. Let's welcome back my brother, Zwo Farisani, who wrote and directed the film, and also welcome Mandisa Constable, also known as Malako.
That's right.
She played Tumi, the woman who knew exactly what she wanted and knew how to set a boundary.
Amen.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
on
I'm so
this
excited.
platform.
Yeah, very excited about today's episode, man.
Same.
Yeah, man. Absolutely loved your film. I loved your film, brother. You know, when we were talking about it the first time you were here, one could get a sense that there's something special that's brewing. But when I saw it, man, I really was blown away. So I just want to say congratulations on the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're so
Thanks
happy.
to this guy. More than anything. Thank you.
And you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but please let us know, how does it feel now that it's out and you're seeing the reactions? What emotions are you going through?
I think I went through my principal emotions when I was making the film. Because I don't like doing things if I can't see the final vision for it. And what excites me about this is that initial vision I had, I'm seeing it reflected now. And especially in the way that it's touching people's lives. That, for me, is the biggest takeaway. Having people say, Uri, I know that character in real life. I've lived this experience. I've felt these emotions that these characters are going through because, as I said even last time, I like to write for real people.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it really does read, right? You can get a sense that these are characters that I know. Now the film, obviously its major theme is, it's an interesting take on modern day relationships in Johannesburg or in the city, and how city life, creates this dynamic. There's a dynamic there, and it affects how our love lives are in this modern time. What inspired you to actually write and create this work?
I was inspired because I moved to Joburg in 2008 and I was coming from Cape Town at the time, so it was a completely different energy. And even Joburg back then compared to now, it's a little bit different, but it was just my own life experiences and the principal idea that I want to make work that I would want to watch. When I was in varsity or when I'm going through things in life, I love to watch films that help me navigate through life. So I was like, when I make films, yes, I can entertain you, but the biggest thing is I want to help grow you and share the growth that I've been going through. So the films are kind of like I don't want to call it manifesto, but it's kind of like my interpretation of how I've experienced the world. And if you're in a similar situation, then maybe you can do what this character did or that character did, and it could help you.
Yeah.
Because I want something that soothes me.
Yeah, man. I mean, you touched on very, very interesting kind of, themes, which we'll get to. I want to touch on you, Ms. Constable.
Oh.
Yeah, Mandisa. Now, your journey as a performing artist, obviously you're an actress, you're a model, and you were in business, but your journey started not in this space. You
No.
started out in corporate finance.
Yes.
How has that turnaround kind of informed the way in which you approach your career as an entrepreneur, as a creative entrepreneur, and as an actress, and the kind of things you've experienced? I mean, the corporate world is not very easy. How could you relate your personal journey to Tumi, who's the character, very strong-willed woman? I don't want to give it too much away, but how did
It's
that kind
the
of
watch.
yeah, how did that kind of inform that? Because she was very she has a lot of layers to her.
Yeah, absolutely. What I can say is the fact that I think my experience in corporate has been instrumental, actually, in how I've navigated my artistic journey. And I'm so glad you've asked me this question, because I don't think people have had the opportunity to really hear my side of how it's been and how I've transitioned. But essentially, within corporate, I started out as a protege, and I had to work hard to make my way through up the corporate ladder. So I would say in the corporate space, it really taught me to be resilient, to work well with people, to be able to structure out my goals clearly, and being able to sort of execute the action steps towards achieving my goals. And that really created the foundation for how I was able to gain the confidence initially to make such a bold decision. I did establish myself quite well. I worked my way up the corporate ladder. I made it all up to senior management.
Sure.
But at that point, I was like, okay, I've climbed this hill, and I also am super appreciative to the support and the leadership present in my corporate career to have built me up and given me the skills and expertise to pursue my own journey. And with that being said, I took the leap. Funny enough, it's a funny story. I was having my send-off. They did this beautiful farewell for me at my corporate job. And right after, I had to leave early to go do a runway show for Unknown Union. And it was interesting. I had all my balloons and all my gifts, and I arrived on set. But essentially, the whole journey of the arts has been one that was based on an idea that I could set goals and achieve them, so long as I'm clear about what steps I'm prepared to take, but also just being smart and being savvy, but also showing up and being professional. So I think it was just an opportunity for me to express myself authentically within the arts, and using the corporate savviness in order to navigate it more seamlessly, I would say.
Makes a lot of sense, man. I mean, Tumi is a strong, black, liberated female.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a character who sets boundaries and has open conversations throughout the film. You know? It's either you take it, it is how it is with her. And it's refreshing to have like a well written, female character on screen, someone that you can tell is multidimensional. It's not just played in one way.
Yes.
But Zwo, tell me, how was the process of crafting Tumi's character?
Dum dum dum.
People are asking us to go to dark places in our lives.
Hey.
Therapy hasn't helped.
Take your time.
Hey, man. I think I've been blessed and cursed with dating some of the most powerful women in a space, which is, I say blessed and cursed, because when that person uses their power in a bad way, it can really do damage. So I was looking at personal experiences. I mean, there is a lady who's alive right now who read the script, and she goes to the other people. She's like, do you know 90% of the conversations I've had with Zwo are in the script?
My goodness.
So I'm drawing from my own life. I'm drawing from situations I've found myself in, parts where I take part of my real life, put it in, other parts I would have to come up with some creative way of approaching it. But yeah, I have known some Tumis in my life. I really, really have met some Tumis who are very bold and very thingy, very take it or leave it. It's not always fun. Like, I'm not gonna be like, dating them is not the most fun thing one can spend their time doing. And I mean, I'll give you an example. Like, there was a point where we had finished the first draft and I needed to write the second draft. And my script editor was like, Zo, do not write a word until you cry. When was the last time you were in love? And I was like, at the time, I was like 10 years. And she was like, you can't approach this from that space. You need to go and find who in your mind is the love of your life and the one that got away, and then write from that space. So it took me about a week. And this one day, I'm just feeling so sad, and I'm driving, and I just start crying. And I call my mom. I was like, I didn't know why I was sad, but now I did these exercises. And you have to. I think I have to be vulnerable as the artist. I have to be. If I'm not going to be vulnerable with the stories that I tell, then I'm not going to be able to connect with you. People don't connect with the gods of the world.
That's true.
They connect with the human beings because the gods of the world don't have a similar story to you. So if I'm going to come and tell you I've never been heartbroken, my life's just been roses, you'll be like, okay, well, that's you and you alone in the city. So I've been through the most, and that's why I want to tell stories that I do.
And now one recurring theme that's there throughout the film, which I noticed while watching, is, the idea of loneliness. Finally, we were talking to one of our new interns earlier, and she's just come from Limpopo in the north. And she was talking about how loud Johannesburg is. Everything is loud and she can't handle it, And I'm like, don't worry, you'll get there, you'll be fine. But essentially within this loud space, there's also like a deep sense of loneliness. And, I love how you played between the two. How did you work that out, I mean, with Tumi's character, she's got a wonderful boyfriend in Trezor. The guy is there, he's providing, but she still finds a way, she's still looking for love outside or some kind of affection. And with all these other characters. And also, I love how all these stories work in parallel, but it's a common theme, of a complicated love, a lonely sense of longing that you never really get to find what you're looking for. How did you tap into that aspect?
Because I'm lonely.
Guilty as charged.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like I've said, I haven't been in love in years. So that does have an impact. Yeah. And there were certain career choices that I made to this point to say, I will pick my career over a relationship. And I can't do what I need to do given this current environment and still be there fully for someone else.
Yeah.
So I have had to delay with certain things in life.
Yeah.
So as much as some people will be commended or some people will insult me, it's neither here nor there. The biggest thing is being alone was a sacrifice I had to make. And with me, I'm one of those people, I would rather be alone than alone with someone next to me. Yeah. Because then I feel imprisoned. Then I feel like I'm trapped. At least here in Nafela, I can call whoever, I can whatever, like I talk on the phone a lot, but if I was trapped in a relationship, which I have been at times, not trapped as in like...
I get you. It's very suffocating to be with someone and not being able to be fully naked with them, fully bare with them, to break, to cry, to rejoice with them. I understand exactly what you mean. And with you, Mandisa, how did you find the process of playing Tumi?
Well, I mean, I feel like there's little gems that people have not actually been aware of. When I initially auditioned to be part of this production, I actually was proposed a role of the wedding planner. Okay. Which was cut from the film, the specific role. And when I had read my script, I did my audition, the following day before rehearsals, Zoe came to me and he was like, Mandisa, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting dropped from this production. I was so freaked out because it's like, this is the nature of the game, right? Yeah. Sometimes you win some and you lose some. But he was like, come, I need to speak to you. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what is he gonna say? And he basically was like, listen, you auditioned for this specific role, but I don't think that role is sufficient for you. Your performance just wasn't where I thought it was, and it exceeded my expectations. I would actually like you to be one of my leads, Tumi. And I was like, oh my God. Because funny, when I was doing my audition, they didn't have the script for the wedding planner. So all they had was the script of Tumi. So in my mind, when I read the script initially and I read the character, I was like, I relate to this girl. I get her vibe, like I get her energy.
I'm scared of you.
Oh, no. It was a date. It was
Yo.
a date
You've seen the
scene.
film and you're like,
It
you're
was the date scene. I mean,
Right.
stop. You heard it.
Yeah.
Okay, by the way, I am not Tumi on the record.
Okay.
But anyways, but just to say, when I read the one particular scene that I was auditioning with, what I really gravitated towards was her inner strength and the sense of self-love and self-advocacy that I really resonated with. Because like I mentioned, or we've discussed, in corporate, that's the disposition you have to carry, especially as a Black woman within a predominantly white field.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain air about yourself where you're confident and you're advocating and you believe in yourself. And I really sort of drew from that when I sort of referenced the character and saw what she was about. I was like, okay, cool. She's a no-nonsense girlie. I've been there. I've been that girl. And that's what I drew from. But also in terms of love and how she navigates it, I feel like she is very self-advocating. She has her own voice. She doesn't allow it to be manipulated by somebody else or, sort of influenced by somebody else. And I think that's what I drew from and that's what I related to. And that's why I was like, I love the character. So when I got that role for Tumi, I was like, this is my girl. And but it was just amazing in general, just being part of the process. But also what I thought was interesting was in rehearsals, Zwo took us through this exercise where we had to envision ourselves as the character and go through these various exercises where we had to embody them energetically in our walk. And he would say, okay, dial it up from 50%, take it to 60%, 80%. So you're walking as if you're that person. And then afterwards, we took a seat, like in a panel, and he interviewed us as though we were the character. Sure. So we were getting these shots. Imagine, I'm only discovering that day that I'm this Tumi, right? I didn't know the full scope of her character at the time. And so essentially, I just drew from what part of the script that I had gotten, but all of us were asked questions. And that's how I kind of got into it more and more, while at the same time drawing from my own experiences. So yeah, it was exciting.
Man. Yeah, really, really exciting. I love it. But with you, Zwo, another recurring theme was, the sense of people not being able to heal from past traumatic experiences in romance. And I mean,
face. Oh my God, so hard.
I mean, healing.
No, I'm fine. I'm healed now.
He's healed. He wrote this for us, and now we have to,
I'm healed.
face ourselves when we watch this. But I mean, that's a real thing. We always talk about healing, but how grueling that experience is, and how it takes. When I saw Angela Tolle's character at the end, and I think she was either watching the telly or, it's almost like sheesh. So this is what it's going to be. Hey, you're going to be that lonely woman.
This you. This you, girl.
You know what I mean? Like, and how many people? But how many people do I know as well in my personal journey who were like, you saw them and you're like, this would be the perfect wife.
Oh,
the perfect husband. But something just crushes them. And they can never go back.
Oh, that's so deep.
Yeah. And would you say that's part of the reason why we, in this modern day, we struggle so much with intimate relationships?
The problem is not the heartbreak. It's what we do with it post. Do I take this heartbreak, this pain, and pass it on to her?
Don't you dare.
Do I take my insecurities?
Yeah.
Because I always say, like, she has a line in the thing where she's speaking to Taki, and she's like, I'm not afraid that you're not over the other woman. I'm afraid that you haven't recovered from the heartbreak. Because sometimes when we have unrecovered pain, we pass it on to the next person.
So true.
Which is emotional baggage.
Yeah.
So I come home late here, I'm doing the film this show, and if I'm with an unhealed person, where are you? Why are you with another person? Hey, why do I hear a woman's voice in the background? What? It's like, heal first.
Yeah.
Heal first and trust that because we are also, when we're not healed, we attract that is not healed. I can't attract a healed person if I am dealing with my demons on a daily basis.
So true.
I'm going to find a possessed person and we're going to possess each other with each other's demons. and will just make life worse. 250% don't make 100.
That's so true.
Doesn't work like that in school, and it doesn't work like that in life.
So true.
You can't say I have 100% because I got a 50 in maths and a 50 in English. So it's an A. No. You're going to come together as two broken people. So that's one of the personal journeys that I have been having to take to heal from all of the damage that those characters or I'd experienced. Even with the other character, we reference her, Maria Antoinette. That's a real person.
Wow.
That's a real
That's
person.
your ex. Whoa.
This
Gets deep, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, first person I dated when I got to Joburg.
Wow.
Showed me the most flames. Joe, I went like, after my first incident, I was like, I'm not dating Zulu girls anymore.
Yeah.
This is nonsense. These people are cruel.
And they're known to be the best.
Dude.
But
she's possessed. I don't know if she's a good person now. But I think she also had trauma.
Yeah.
So I could track down her past relationships, and I knew that was traumatic, that was traumatic, that was traumatic. She went and healed, and then she passed it on to me. And then what did I do? I went and I dated more people, and then got hurt more and hurt other people.
You were reliving Marie Antoinette. But the other, something very important is also to acknowledge your role in this repetitive cycle. There's a reason why I chose Marie Antoinette. There's a reason why the other girl I tried to date, who was like perfectly normal, the great girlfriend, always
Little
listens
Miss
to me.
Sunshine.
She's got, she bores me to hell.
Dude.
And I want Marie Antoinette, who will spit in my face and will slap me and will make up sex and will love each other forever. But it's just crazy how we choose these broken partners and repeat the cycle. And I think the reason why we're unable to get out of it, and I
want to add something there.
Please feel free.
So I get the aspect of healing and having to be healed or arriving at a place of healing before establishing relationships. But I do feel like there is an instrumental role that we play in people's lives in terms of tapping them into an awareness of their deficiencies or inadequacies, because sometimes you're made to be pushed or experience difficulty before you switch and change and realize that you want better or want more. It's like through the experience, so-called, of these toxic relationships, you're awakened to your true self and your true needs. And it's actually a process of self-awareness. Funny enough, I had a friend of mine who told me something interesting. I think it's a scripture where they say you need to suffer the ills of people to evolve, to transcend. And I think that's where we've also got it a bit amiss. We want people to be perfect and all set up and prepped for us when we're not exactly there, but also not realizing that there is actually growth in difficulty. Without difficulty, you don't necessarily know what you want or how to overcome struggle. So I feel like there is a role to play when it comes to so-called unhealed people, but how sometimes unhealed people can heal each other in terms of their identity and their true selves. Because I feel like Tumi and Taki, that relationship sort of allowed them to see their own fears or see their own issues and then go out and heal. I mean, he went to yoga.
Yeah.
Okay? He was
really,
there meditating. He was
tapped
not
in.
meditating before.
Yeah.
And now there he is, busy tapping into himself, reading more literature. There is a benefit, or rather say, a silver lining to our difficulties in our mismatchings or relationship encounters. It just depends on how you look at it, I think.
So now another element that really worked very well in the film was the camera work. Sheesh. You had a phenomenal DOP. I mean, I just loved how it looked,
Have you heard of him?
I've heard of him. Besides the fact that he's my business partner. I know, honestly,
Cat's out the bag.
I just loved the look and feel of it. Can you guys just both talk about how you felt the way it was shot enhanced the story for you?
Can I say, being on set and having observed it, Zwo was sensational as a director, but I also feel like the contribution of Kevin and him sort of visualizing the shots really worked in harmony with one another. And one thing that stuck out for me was the fact that you really trusted his direction when it came to how he was filming. And it really came through because you felt the intimacy of having been sort of introduced into in each of these characters' lives, and him capturing it, and in the lighting, and just sort of where the framing. When we think about some of the shots, it's like there's so many layers that you can unpack, and there's also these emotional cues that you see and read, and it was very evident throughout the filming process that they were really trusting each other for their insights and skills. And yeah, Kevin.
Well done, Kev. Well done. We wanted to bring him on as an extra guest. He said no. He hates cameras. He loves working behind. So sorry, guys. But so for you, how was it? How was it working? The relationship between you and the DOP.
It was amazing. I think because we approached life from very similar philosophy, not just as artists and filmmakers, but as human beings. He's my role model. I look up to him. I ask him for advice with things in life. And the thing with our DOP, Kevin and Drew Kumalo, we've worked together for, I want to say close to a decade now. So I remember he shot he shot his very first film with me. And we were out in the trenches, and he literally, because there was someone who didn't trust him to do it, and they're like, Zoe's gonna ruin your film. And I had to put my career on the line, because they were like, if this film flops because you forced us to work with Kevin, you're not gonna have a career as a director. And I was like, it's not gonna flop, Chief. And once we were on set, like he was working with really experienced people, all of them were just going crazy, like, oh my gosh, this guy's amazing. He's amazing. And he understands the fact that when the camera is there to articulate what's happening internally, I think what's interesting with working with Kevin is that he understands that the camera is there as an external articulation of what's happening internally with the characters. This is an interview show, so it's fine. We can do the wide, close up. But now if I'm telling a drama, it doesn't serve me to light the entire room, to blast the entire room, unless you're choosing that as a style, like I've seen in Midsommar. But we want to keep as much mystery in the shots, and you'll see where a scene ends and where it begins are most of the time in two very different places, where we'd reveal a character sometimes.
That was cool.
Oh, thank you.
That was really cool.
But yeah, you can't just, there's no tension if I'm saying, oh, this person is having an affair, and from the first shot, I'm showing you a wide of the room and you see who's there. There's no mystery. The audience isn't asking themselves questions. And that's what we want to do. We want to make the audience ask questions, because that's the type of films I want to make. I don't spoon feed me. I had that as a child. I'm no longer in Pampas. When I watch things, I want to think. Take me on a journey. Don't, because when you spoon feed me, it's almost like,
that's true. You're undermining the audience.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I mean, touching on just the very first scene with knack music and this lovely actress, the blonde actress who was there, and you see this actress talking to someone, you hear this voice, and you're not necessarily, you don't see knack in the scene or in the beginning of the scene, but you see the effect of his voice on this lady's psyche and how he's able to change, her perception of him, and how he's able to make her do what he wants. And as an audience member, I was like, who is this guy? And then boom, here's the reveal. This is him. And I love that, because we weren't spoon-fed from the very beginning.
Yeah.
We got a sense of what, the actual, what the style is and how it's going to be approached. So I think it worked very well for you guys, man.
no,
That's
thank
an
you.
interesting observation. Because it was like plot twist after plot twist after plot twists. I mean,
Definitely.
yeah. That was what I also thought was amazing. Even at the
Definitely.
screening.
Yeah.
People's reactions, the audience was so sort of audible the whole time through every single scene. And that was actually the best experience, getting that live audience reaction, which was amazing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that cinema is slowly dying.
Yes.
But it's a wonderful way. I'm sure it's an exhilarating film. I mean, it was an exhilarating experience as a filmmaker, being able to get first-hand reaction from your audiences, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You get to watch, because I think I've seen this film like 100 and something times. Like, I'll be honest, because you watch it so many times, I can't watch it alone anymore. I have to watch it with someone because I need them so I can watch it through their eyes
Yeah.
to make it fresh for me.
So true.
And I'm not talking, I love the film.
It's an amazing film.
Thank
Just
you.
putting it out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Yes,
Absolutely exceptional.
And yeah, but it's like I need someone else there
Yeah.
to go through those plot twists with them because it's not a plot twist for me anymore.
You know.
And I just hope that the philosophical side of the film can carry us past the plot twists and whatever the film is saying, because I heard the difference between a movie and a film is that with a movie, it's bubblegum. You chew it once and you take out the sweetness.
Definitely.
If you come back to the same piece of gum tomorrow, it's not going to taste good.
So true.
But a movie is like a book. I mean, a film is like a book. You want to find layers. So we were trying to put layers, not just in the shots, not just in the dialogue, not just in the performances, but in the entire mise en scene. And that's what I hope we achieved, and I feel we achieved. Like, granted, you can't ask a filmmaker if they would reshoot it, how would they do it? Because I would. I have a lot of ideas of how I would reshoot it. But at the same time, it's like, I think there's other stories that need to be told. And there are ones where this one, emotionally, on the scale, it's the lightest one I have.
Wow.
They get deep. They get
deep.
way deeper.
They
than
get
this.
deep.
This
Yeah.
is my lightest script.
My gosh.
In probably, yeah, you can ask the DOP because he's read all my scripts. He knows this one would come over to my house in tears. I'm sorry. He'd literally read a script and just be crying, like, what are you doing to us?
Sure.
And yeah, so it goes deeper than Smart Casuals.
Can't wait. Yeah, man. Can't wait to see more of the work. But another very strong element that you had within the film is your music. Man, music and the soundscape and how you use some of these sounds to kind of put together, you know, this aesthetic. It worked very well. Two questions I'd like to ask you. First one is, what was your process in terms of creating the soundscape? And secondly, I mean, you've got multi-talent. You had a multi-talented cast with Nomsa Twala, with Mandisa as a musician who's just gotten, you have your single that's out at the moment. Very exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And also Knack Music, who we know has been producing hits over the years. Did you use some of your talent, cast members, to help you with that process? And what was your process of creating this music?
Like I said, with visuals, it's an external, it's a what's it called? An external that word.
Experience or what?
No, you're trying to take the internal and put it externally.
Okay.
That's what you do with the visuals. With the music, you're trying to take the visuals or what's external
And
play
internalize
it
it.
internally.
I get you.
So we feel the music.
Oh.
So that's what needs to work in tandem. And you realize if you actually listen to much of the soundtrack, about 80% of our film has a score to it.
Yeah.
About 80%. And yes, there are a few reoccurring themes, but what I was trying to do is just, and I had to learn this when I became a director, because before musically, I only listened to R&B and hip hop. But you can tell this is not a film that R&B and hip hop can speak to. No shots at that. I love that. Like even in my car, I'm playing R&B and hip hop. But I had to find music which used more suggested. Some of my favorite R&B tracks are "I Will Always Love You." It's too on the nose for a film like this, because the difference between sentimentality and emotionality is when it's sentimental, I'm telling you what to feel. When it's emotional, you're deciding what to feel as the audience. So we just wanted to create a soundtrack where we could just feel our way through this film. And it depended on what type of scene it was. Oh, and this is a really important thing which I worked with my ADR guy on. With every time, especially in the second half of the movie, we told ourselves, earn the track. Don't just play the track. We might have a track we want to play in the scene, but until this character says a specific line, when you watch it again, note how sometimes we'll just start scenes silently. And then only once we've earned the emotion of the track, we'll start playing the music.
Which makes so much sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't just throw it on. It's not a cut and paste. So we would have to feel. And the most beautiful thing is it's also, as you said, with the talented people I worked with, all the way to my ADR guy, Umilo. He's amazing. And what I love about him, he's also a feeler like me. So we were feeling our way. So we would literally at the same time be like, start the track now. Both of us there was a synergy. And even like with the actors, when I direct them, they knew when they had a good take before I told them. Because we both felt. You can't lie to yourself as an actor. You can't lie to yourself as an artist. And yes, to answer your question, no, we weren't able to. Well, number one, I didn't know she was an artist. And then I think it was just a scheduling thing because...
A musician, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, a musician. I didn't know she was a musician. I'm skeezy.
No, don't stress.
But with the other ones, I think there was a scheduling issue and whatnot, and the deadlines.
Who was the male vocalist? I thought that was Neck.
No.
There's these male vocals that just mesmerized my soul, man. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, because Nak is known for that.
Yeah, well, it wasn't him?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't. I don't even know who the artist was.
Sure.
They gave me like tracks.
No, that was really good, man.
Yeah. No, but he never, we never, I mean, if we work on another project, which we'll have more time on, then that'll be, because I mean, Nak is busy anyways, like all the time. I mean, I was supposed to have gone to visit him like 10 years ago. I still haven't.
But time was a factor, though.
It was a serious...
It definitely was a factor.
Yeah, because it's like literally you'll go from not editing and then suddenly it's like, guys, we have this week, we have to get this in, we have to get that in, we have to get that in. Because you're working with so many different people on it.
Yeah. Hurry up and wait, they call it.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, this film was part of the NVF and Netflix slate and was your first time directing a feature film. What lessons did you learn from pre-production to distribution that helped shape the end product, and what advice do you have for anyone approaching their first feature film?
I'm still learning those lessons. But I think there's so much where I would say I appreciate Netflix, Indigenous Films, NFVF, National Film and Video Foundation, who there were points where I was losing certain battles behind the scene, and they came in and they fought for me, and we wouldn't have had the film that we have today, just to be dead honest, if they hadn't stood up and said, guys, you need to take this film back to what Zwo originally envisioned. So I'm really grateful for that, because I think sometimes we, as South Africans, we don't like taking risks. A lot of the shots there that you saw in the film were cut by more experienced people who knew better, have been working in this industry for 35 years. You know the story. And Netflix is like, this is not what we signed up for. You're losing way too much, you're losing the soul of the story. And then they fought for me and they brought back my vision. So when I watched the final cut, I was like, I was scared. Like when they sent me the final cut, I couldn't watch it for about almost a week. Because I was like, this is devastating. And we as artists, we live and die for our craft. We can't switch off. I can't switch off being an artist at 7:30 and go home. I will be an artist at home as well. I'll be an artist with my family. I'll be an artist when I'm in the park. I'm always that. Yeah. So when you feel your art getting pushed in another direction by someone who you might not regard as too artistic, it's
heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. People don't understand. It's really heartbreaking.
It is. It really is. So now I just appreciate that fact that the film looks much more like what my vision has. So what advice I would give is first have a vision before anything else.
So true.
First have a vision, and a vision is bigger than I have a script or I have a visual treatment. A vision is what do I want the audience to walk away with after they've seen this film? Do I want to heal them? Do I want to anger them? Do I want to make them happy? Do I want to make them scared? What things do I want them to reflect on? And those are those little nuances that everyone, when I interact with, is coming to me every day to share, like, oh my gosh, I got this. Like, even now you were talking off camera about certain themes in the shots and themes in the story, like the loneliness one. I hadn't even thought of that. But because it fell under the healing vision, you can't really tell relationship stories without the loneliness, especially if you're dealing with healing. So during post was a huge thing that I learned a lot. Production was quite similar. It was, I would say it wasn't as stressful as because shooting a short film is really, really stressful because you don't sleep, you don't eat, you go for 20-hour days. This one, at least we had a 10-hour day, 12 hours.
More
So
or less,
that was pretty, I would get home by 6, 7.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so it was not really a stressful shoot.
Yeah.
I really it was not stressful at all. I enjoyed being on set, working with the artists.
Yeah, it really was like that. And I think also Zwo really cultivated that. I think I've said this so many times when anyone asks or gives me the platform to, but he really ensured that we were so present in everything that we did on set. And I personally felt really happy to be there. And my colleagues and other cast members were really just energetically very invested in the project, and it came through. And I think that's why everyone, even people who weren't even filming on a specific day would come in just to be on set, which I think speaks to just the atmosphere that was created. It was beautiful on set. It was such a pleasure working with you.
Yeah, man. Wonderful. And good choice on your cast, man. Angela's Tole, shout out. Nak Music, Nomsa Twala, Mandisa. Beautiful, beautiful cast, and they worked very well. Nyaniso!
Kudzai!
Terrence, yeah.
Come on.
And I just loved how Nyaniso put a nice sprinkle of comedic relief,
He was amazing.
I just loved it. Lastly, Mandisa, now, this experience this is a great welcome into this business. Has this experience encouraged you to pick up more film roles and in the business? And what is your future looking like within this business?
I have to say, I think I've mentioned this to Zwo as well, is once I finished with this particular project, I was just like, I think this is my thing. It really, and then also I think you also made it that way because of the whole experience and the cast that I got to work with, because these are stellar seasoned actors, and I had the privilege of working alongside them. So for me, it really catapulted me into a space where I really got a true first-hand experience of how it goes and what are the tricks and the tactics. And so I would have to say I'm definitely invested in doing more projects. I would love to do more films. So if there's any casting directors out there who are looking for a woman, a lady to act, it's definitely my space. I love the idea of being able to tell people's stories by embodying and immersing yourself into the emotional experience. And I think that's really what I got from the Tumi character, and also just seeing everyone else's portrayal. It's just really tapping in to someone else's story and telling it as authentically as you possibly can. And I think that's a privilege, because some stories are really important to be told, and Smart Casuals really kind of put that clearly out there, just simply based off of the feedback. People from all around the world, okay? Trinidad, USA, the UK, all across the continent have come back with such beautiful feedback about how this movie has enlightened them. And I think that's such a huge compliment, that you've touched someone's life. And one thing my mom said was, because she was at the screening, she was like, this is a nation building film. And I was like, you know what? I think you're right, because it gives us the opportunity to look at our relationships a little bit more intentionally and seeing what are we trying to get out of our interactions with people, and is it positive, is it building, or is it destructive? And let's make a decision about whether we want to perpetuate that. And yeah, Smart Casuals really kind of put that out there, and a lot of people have felt it, and I think that's how I feel a lot afterwards.
Absolutely,
so
love
thank
it.
you.
So now that we're at the tail end of our show, I'd like to know, what is your other favorite films that have been produced from our continent and our country?
Does it have to be film?
Film,
Can it be like a series?
film,
Because I've been
docu, series.
binging
Cool.
South African stuff lately.
Yeah, awesome.
I would have to say all of the How to Ruin Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
I'm obsessed with the
Genius.
directing and the writing. It's so authentic.
Yeah.
Love, love, love.
Yeah, brilliant. And you, sir?
Hey, guys, I haven't been watching a lot of stuff lately.
You're too busy creating.
I'm busy creating. I don't watch as much as I used to. Like my TV watching has gone down probably by like 80 or 90%.
My gosh.
I mostly watch sports to get away from it. And I did that also, and I shared this thing, I don't want to be controversial, but I did say that I don't like to compare myself. So for me to do something new,
You have to come in as a clean slate, right?
I have to come in with a clean slate and I have to let the story lead the visual treatment. Because once I write something down, I don't want to be influenced by other sources. Like if I'm at home, then I'd rather watch like TikTok or something, or rather documentaries. But yeah, I really, really haven't been seeing much. This is a bit hypocritical because I'm here like.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
What? Smart casuals.
Smart, I know, I will
Come
watch.
on now.
I have friends like you are also in the industry.
Definitely.
I know you have a film that came out
Definitely.
and I'm still gonna catch it.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I mean, I think the films that I watched in the build up to this, hey, I don't want to mention them because they said I must watch films for a reference.
Okay.
And I don't want to.
You don't want to. You want to be referenced. Makes a lot of sense, man.
Pleads the fifth.
Yeah.
I plead the fifth,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's all love, and I
Love
want
it.
to help grow the South African industry.
Absolutely.
So in terms of, I think I shelter myself because I'll watch very specific, very odd movies. And I don't mean just like Hollywood. I don't really watch, and I'm not to dog Hollywood or anything, but I like extremely artistic films which push the boundary, which most people might not like. And that's where I pick up all these ideas that I put into my own stories. But it's also, I have to protect myself as a creative so that I'm creating and I'm not recreating. Because a lot of times our films, and I don't mean our films as South Africans, our films as filmmakers globally look a lot like other films.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get my films to not look like any other film that's out there. So yeah, I will start watching more because as also my DOP did say when we were in pre-prod, when the gaffer asked him, what films are we referencing for the shoot? And it was like, reference, we don't reference other films. We'll be recreating them instead of creating. So we don't reference films. We reference our feelings. We reference our emotional state. We reference our vision. So even when I'm doing a visual treatment, I'm not going to other films and saying I'm going to do that shot. I'm going to pictures. I'm going to paintings. I'm looking at songs. I'm looking at a feeling instead of I want to recreate the shot.
Powerful. Guys, we've reached the tail end of our show. It's been a very enlightening and delightful experience speaking to you.
Likewise.
And your movie is something that the whole of South Africa has to see.
Amen.
Amen. So guys, I urge you, please watch Smart Casuals on Netflix, starring Mandisa Constable, Nak Music, Angela Sitole, Nyani Sodzedze, Nomsa Twala, and a host of other phenomenal actors in the country. So, my brother, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you,
Keep
my
shining the
brother.
light. You are inspiring us. And this is only the beginning of something so great. Mandisa, may you have a long, prosperous
Thank
career.
you.
And this is the beginning of great things. And we're so happy. We are so blessed to have you on our screens, that you shine your light, for you to shine your light for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Marcus.
thank
We
you
appreciate
for the
it.
platform
Thank
and
you so
creating
much.
spaces like this for artists to speak from their perspective. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I love your studio. Absolutely love it.
Kevin once again. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.